Cartoon recaps here. Today I will be recapping the movie called Big Hero 6. Spoilers ahead, relax and enjoy. Somewhere in a city called San Francisco, some set of people are gathered to watch a bot fight. After a long fight, Yama, who has never been defeated, unexpectedly brings out a blade from his robot and kills the opponent robot. This time all challengers are scared to fight him. A little boy called Hero enters the ring with his tiny robot asking if he can play. Yama, seeing his robot, laughs terribly at him and asks him to go home. But as he brings a large amount of money to bet, Yama allows him to play. In the first round, Yama smashed his robot without even getting him to do anything. Yama makes fun of him and he takes all the money from the bet, but Hero insisted to try again. Yama tells him he is a loser and he should just go home, but immediately Hero brings out more money to bet. Yama allows him to play again. The fight started. Hero surprisingly changes his robot into destroy mode. Yama is shocked as the robot starts to dodge all his hits. Hero robot dismantled every part of his opponent robot body and finally destroyed it, which leaves Yama at the most shocking moment of his life. Hero collects all the money, but Yama, who is so disappointed at his defeat, takes Hero robot from him and instructed his gang to teach him a lesson. Hero is about to be attacked when his senior brother called Tadashi comes to his rescue with a bike and escapes. Hero also controls his robot way out of Yama's possession. Tadashi scolded him that robots fight is illegal and he can be arrested if he's caught, but Hero keeps defending. Unfortunately for the both of them, the cops catches them and puts them in jail with the others' goons. Their auntie later came to their rescue and bailed the two boys out. Firstly, she confirmed they were okay, then scolded them for putting themselves in a kind of situation like that. While on their way home, we learn that their auntie has been taking care of them for 10 years since their mother died. Later on, Tadashi takes Hero to San Francisco Tech Institute, where he works. He introduced Hero to his inventor friends. Firstly is Go-Go. She is the inventor of a motorcycle with electromagnetic wheels. Next inventor is Wasabi. He invented a plasma laser. Next is a girl called Honey Lemon, who is the inventor of a big purple smoke bubble. And finally Fred, who is working on something that can turn him to a fire-breathing lizard. After the whole introduction stuffs, he takes Hero to his lab and immediately puts a tape in Hero's hands and removes it. As Hero shouts in pain, immediately it activated Tadashi's new invention, a robot called Baymax. The robot notices that Hero is in pain and scanned where the pain is coming from. Thereafter, putting a stop to the pain, the robot says it won't leave until Hero says it is satisfied with its care. After Hero says it, the robot goes back gently into the box. Tadashi's professor called Robert Callahan enters the room. Hero realized from his bother and the researches he has made that it was Professor Callahan that invented the robots. Because of him, Hero is so inspired to pursue an education at his school. Tadashi tells Hero that the only way he can get into the school is that every year the school has a science showcase event, and if he comes up with an invention really good, he will be accepted into the school. After a long research, Hero is so frustrated because he doesn't seem to have come up with any ideas. But as Tadashi motivates Hero not to give up, immediately he gets a really good idea when he looks at his robot. For days Hero has been spending a lot of time in his invention. Even Tadashi and his friends also come around to assist him at times. Successfully, Hero has finished with his invention. Later that night was the time for the science showcase. We can see different kind of inventory and people getting prepared for the showcase. Hero is assisted by Tadashi and his friends, who encourages him not to be tense, that he will perform well. While they were having a conversation, a loudspeaker announces that Hero is the next person to present his invention. Hero suddenly starts to feel nervous until Tadashi encourages him. Hero on the stage then showcases his new invention before Callahan, but at the very beginning someone walks out from the presentation thinking it's trash. Hero's invention is called the microbots. He puts a device in his head and unleashed a large number of them he made. He explains to them that those microbots are controlled with a transmitter in his head, and you can make it whatever you want it to be and do whatever you want it to do. He explains more that like a large construction that can be done in months, his microbots can just accomplish that in a day. This astonishes everyone, including his auntie, brother Tadashi and his friends. Tadashi and his friends congratulated Hero for his great performance. While they were celebrating, a man called Alistair Cray meets Hero and offered to buy his microbots for a huge amount of money. Immediately they are interrupted by Professor Callahan, who tells Hero not to trust him. Hero rejected his offer and Callahan then gives him a letter of acceptance into his school. Everyone congratulated him even more, and their auntie cheerfully says she will sponsor everyone's dinner for the night. Tadashi asks for a moment alone with Hero. He tells him that he is really proud of him, and Hero is also thankful to his brother for never giving up on him. While they were talking, they hear a loud scream from the tech building and hurry to it only to see it burning and people running out from it. When he hears from someone that Professor Callahan is still inside, he tries to go in but Hiro begs him not to go, but Tadashi insisted to go in so he can save Professor Callahan. Hiro doesn't want to leave his brother inside alone, also tries to go inside to assist. Immediately the building exploded. His brother and Professor Callahan is confirmed dead. Thereafter their burial took place. Tadashi friends were in Hiro's house to console Hiro and Auntie Cass on the unfortunate loss of Tadashi. Few days after the loss, Hiro gave up on everything, including the acceptance to the tech school. Hiro mistakenly drops his robot that injures his foot. As he is yelling in pain, immediately the Baymax robot comes out of the box where Tadashi kept him and tries to tend to Hiro wounds, but Hiro keeps refusing its help no matter how hard it tries. Hiro falls to the ground and notices that his microbots is moving. Feelings weird about it, goes to his laptop to make his research. Baymax tells Hiro that feels the robot is about to go somewhere, but Hiro doesn't care. He is just focused on what he is fixing. Before he could realize it, Baymax is already gone. He looks at the window to see Baymax at the road following the directions of the microbot. Hiro chases Baymax until they got to a warehouse. Hiro was like, "Is he crazy?" Baymax replied, telling Hiro that he has found where the microbot was leading him to. Hiro enters the warehouse and finds thousands of this microbots that he made, and even noticed that someone is making more of them. Suddenly the microbot starts to chase after Hiro. At this moment he finally saw a person on mask controlling the microbots, and they eventually make their escape through the window. Hiro immediately goes to the police station to report the matter to the officer, but the officer doesn't believe him. When Hiro tells Baymax his witness, to help him convinces the officer. Unfortunately, Baymax's battery runs down. He silently drags the robot to the room so Auntie Cass won't know. When he finally got to his room, he places Baymax on a device that charges him. Hiro sees Tadashi's cap and begins to feel sad again. Baymax notices it and tried every means comforting him by contacting his friends even when Hiro doesn't want to. It also hugs Hiro, comfort him. Hiro, after taking a look at his piece of microbot, begins to feel that the guy in the mask was the one who stole his microbots and was the one who set tech building on fire to cover up his tracks, which means he was the one responsible for Tadashi's death. Now Hiro made up his mind that he must capture the guy on the mask no matter what. He takes Baymax to his lab. Hiro says if they must capture the guy, he will have to upgrade Baymax. Firstly, he programs some fighting skills into Baymax, and then creates a suit and puts it on Baymax. In this scene we find out that there is a card that makes Baymax good and kind, but the other card Hiro puts inside him contains all the programmed fighting skills. He then texts Baymax skills, which he successfully slashes a plank into two, and does combat kicking. Baymax at this point was super skillful in fighting, which really cheered Hiro up. And the training finally is completed and they are ready for battle. Hiro and Baymax goes to the seaport to find the other microbots, but they didn't notice they were followed by a car. Inside the car is Hiro friends, who are Go-Go, Wasabi, Honey, and Fred. They were all contacted by Baymax earlier. Hiro sees them and tells them to leave or they will be endangered. While they were all figuring out what Hiro was doing out there alone, the man in the mask appears and uses the microbots to throw a big container on them. Wasabi thinks he's already going to die, but luckily Baymax catches the container. They all hurry to the car to make their escape while the man in the mask keeps chasing after them, which makes them furious. Luckily for them, they successfully escaped from the villain. Fred decides to take them all to his house, because it's the safest place for them. When they got there, they were really shocked that the Fred they knew all this while came from a very rich family. He takes them to his room with a whole bunch of texts, collections of monster statues, and comic books. Hiro keeps wondering who was behind the mask that attacked them. Fred then proposes a theory and concludes that it no other person but Aleister Cray, the man that wanted to buy Hiro microbots, but he refused. Hiro then decides that he is really going to catch the guy. But by doing so, he will need to upgrade not just Baymax but his friends also. He starts working on different kind of weapons for all of them. Honey has a ball that turns to a trap immediately it reaches its target. Go-Go has an electric rollers blade that moves at high speed. Wasabi has a laser machine in his hand used for cutting stuffs, while Fred is on a monster suit that brings out fire from its mouth. Hiro then makes a suit for himself and for Baymax too, as he adds some features like the flying fist, which amazing everyone, and also making Baymax to fly. He even puts it to text by flying on Baymax's body around the entire city. Later on, Hiro uses Baymax to carry his friends to the location of where the villain is. When they enter the lab, they were attacked by the villain but were protected by Baymax. Now their plan is to remove the mask to prevent him from controlling the microbots. After a tough fight between the group, the masked man defeated all of them, but when he was about to finish them off, Hero comes from the corner and punched him in the face, and at the same time removing the mask. The person behind the mask is revealed to be Professor Callahan. Hero is so shocked and confused that Callahan didn't die in the fire. And worst of all is that he left Tadashi to die. Hero becomes so angry and reprograms Baymax to destroy Callahan. Immediately Baymax fire a Brookasy at him. His friends feels this was out of the line and tried to stop Baymax but ended up being pushed away. Baymax in this mode was trying to kill Callahan, but Hero friends keeps getting in his way, trying to stop Baymax from killing Callahan. As Baymax is about to finish the job, Go-Go quickly reprograms him into being good again, making Callahan to escape. Hero is really angry that his friends tried to stop him and leaves them. Hero returns home to fix the damages on Baymax. Meanwhile, his friends came to where he was, and Hero suddenly apologizes to them for his actions. They are back together again. Now they all decided to embark on catching Callahan again, but in the right way. They made him when he was about to harm Alistair Cray. After a long fight between Hero team and Callahan, Hero defeated him and immediately removes his mask that makes him lose control of the microbots. The movie ends with when the cops arresting Callahan, and justice for Hero's brother was finally served. Thank you for watching, guys. If you want to keep watching more of this content, please subscribe to this channel. Bye.